and welcome to seispingüinos.com Instrumentopedia, a place where we look at different instruments from around the world. What I have here is a Brian Boru bagpipe practice chanter. Everything started back in the 1880s when Henry Stark, who was a flute maker in London, met William Ross, who was bagpiper to Queen Victoria. They started talking and William Ross persuaded Henry Stark to make bagpipes, and he did. And Stark bagpipes are still today some of the best pipes ever made. But Stark, more than anything, was an innovator and an inventor. And so he was always trying out new experiments. And in 1908, together with William O'Dwayne, Henry Stark invented the Brian Boru bagpipe. This was in part in response to a renewed Irish interest in bagpipes and in their national identity, and supposedly the bagpipe was based on a 15th century engraving of a bagpiper that they found in Ireland. And Brian Boru, of course, was an Irish king back in 941 AD, or something like that. So that was the idea of the bagpipe. But it was also because the Highland bagpipes are limited. They only have 9 notes, and so a lot of tunes can't be played. So the idea of the Brian Boru bagpipe was to have extra keys so there would be more notes. The original bagpipe, I think, had 14 keys, but later that came down to 5 keys like this instrument, or even up to 8 on some occasions. So anyway, this is a practice chanter made by Laurie, probably in the 1950s. The Brian Boru bagpipes never really took off. It was very hard for Highland bagpipers to change the fingering to play these because the scale is totally different. And Stark did try to design a different chanter that would work with Highland bagpipers, but with so many keys you can't play the traditional movements, so it never took off. There is, I believe, a Brian Boru bagpipe band, the Inniskin Fusiliers, but it's an instrument that never really, it didn't take off. It never got anywhere. So this is what the Brian Boru bagpipe sounds like, or the practice chanter at least. I don't have the full set. And of course, the wonderful advantage that it has, that it can play tunes that the Highland bagpipes can't. One example of this would be Auld Lang Syne, which is a tune that Highland pipers always get asked to play, but they can't reach the high notes, so they have to try different versions. The Brian Boru bagpipe, of course, does reach those notes. So here we go, Auld Lang Syne on the Brian Boru bagpipe practice chanter.